Hello everyone and welcome to another replay review as we go over another really cool Mechabellum match that I just had. But before we go in, one big shout out to the second SDL Mechabellum tournament happening this weekend on the 1st of July, 3 p.m. EST it starts, and you can still sign up till the 29th. There is prize money already on the line again, most likely to come. You can help out here at Mechabellum if you want to help out with that. And you can find up all the sign up stuff down below on our website. And yeah, let's go in here into the match now. Really hyped for the tournament, especially with the new stuff coming in this week's patch. But let's go into the action here. Yes, I, in blue, went into a super standard combo. Supply Specialist, Arclight, Stormcaller. It's really a super basic setup. And yeah, Arclight pretty strong lately, Stormcaller pretty meta, Supply Specialist always nice, and they are slow, they are just classic frontline units, so they play pretty nicely as well. And the enemy did go for something similar here. Tiger going for Elite with Fangs and Sledgehammers, so pretty standard slow frontline unit as well. Went for Crawlers here, for level 2. And yeah, obviously the Elite making it a bit more complicated to react to stuff on the other side, but the things that you get hit pretty hard, hit like a truck, and make it sometimes also pretty problematic for the enemy, especially if you can go into elites and so on, into giants, then the enemy might have a problem. And yeah, I went Fangs because I needed some beef on the front line here. To protect my Arclights, to protect my Stormcallers, just some numbers here around somewhere. So that's what the Fangs were good for. Well, it's, yeah, enemy Crawlers on the flank here. Quite strong unit. And we had a pretty standard battle here at the beginning. Sledgehammer's under fire by the Stormcaller. Stormcaller is doing a decent job there. Getting a bit distracted here by the Crawlers. And the level 2 Crawlers, a few of them survived here. Really going ham. It was only 3 or 4 of them. But as the Stormcallers have minimum range, they couldn't do much about it. So they actually even got through to destroy the turret. 3 of them, destroying all of that stuff. Bit unfortunate there. And as the last one here didn't die and didn't get hit by these Stormcallers either. It actually went on another killing spree here, trying to kill more Stormcallers of mine. And even getting another one killed. Trying to get another one here, but finally getting slowed down, so it will get hit by the salvo. Pretty frustrating. Could have been a bit more damage here in the first fight, but we got out of it. And then we got a super important thing here. That was a bit quick, but we got subsidized Arclights. We got 50 points cheaper Arclights. Before that, I was like, yeah, Arclights are decent here, but we might want to go into something more beefier on the front line immediately. But with the 50 cheaper Arclights, I had the money to get Arclights for 50 points now, and I immediately could give them a nice upgrade that also make them somewhat solid against the Sledgehammers, and especially also importantly make them deal pretty easily with higher level Crawlers and Fangs as well, because we even with level 3 still one-shot these Crawlers now with the charged shot upgrade, so that helped a lot. And that will mean that these Arclights gonna die quite quickly. Enemy went into Arclights as well. Some cheaper units are always nice with the Elite upgrade. Now paying the base cost here basically for the Arclight with 100. And yeah, going into a fight. But the charge shot making mine actually trade pretty decently here, even against the higher level one. And then obviously against the Fangs, it's not really a fair fight. Arclights up here. Up top, even dealing decent damage now against the Sledgehammers, and that is pretty important because Sledgehammers themselves not dealing super much damage, so having something that can deal okay damage in there, pretty helpful. I have a couple of Fangs coming around. These Sledgehammers, bit of a problem. Level 2 Sledgehammers, quite tanky and a bit too hard to kill here. So they go through, they kill my stuff, they kill my Stormcallers here as well, whilst my Arclight level up, pretty important. Yeah, Arclights have elite marksmen, so you always kind of want to level them up. I went for speed here, so did my enemy. Speed was the barrier could have been interesting as well. Not so much for my enemy, but for me maybe. All of these units deal relatively low DPS, So barrier quite nice there at the beginning to keep them out. And we couldn't really afford the elite quick enough to make the barrier work though. A really good missile here. And my idea was, enemy is relatively low DPS. Enemy is pretty reliant on these sledgehammers, as the rest can be dealt with the Stormcrawlers. What is good against sledgehammers? Steel bolts. So I went into steel bolts here and got those kind of guys. Get some more arc lights because I could afford them. And yeah, the steel bolts coming in the middle. Coming in to try to kill the enemy. Missile though, absolutely perfect hit there. Really, really brutal. We have some fights down here. Arc lights now level up, dealing really nicely with the enemy. Enemy went for range on their arc lights though, which is a bit frustrating as well. Stormcaller dealing nicely with the sledgehammer here though. Now aiming for the arc light up top. And hitting it somewhat nicely. Last shot here, hitting it and killing it. But damage still pretty low. Both sides here not really hurting each other just yet. Here, Giant Hunter, not really of interest. Underground threat though, pretty strong with the enemy so open in the rear. And the enemy went for skip. Storm is really expensive, not really worthwhile. But enemy has nothing to protect their rear. Is really all in the frontally. And that I thought I should punish here now. So I went for the 50-point crawlers spawn, which really will help out eliminating these turrets. And with that, hopefully win the frontline fight as well. More steel bolts coming around, because I realized the first ones were pretty solid. Pretty scary here though with the level 3 sledgehammer. But yeah, I thought the enemy would use a missile here against me in the middle again, because it was so effective the first time. So I went for a shield, and the shield also helped out for my steel bolts to get them closer to the enemy, which was another really great extra benefit, and allowed them to only come out of there once the crawlers were already destroying the turret. So pretty great success here in this fight. Already starting to deal a bit more damage here. Here, parasitic ammo can be quite nice, so we both went for it. I went for it on the Stormcaller, and the enemy here now going for a Vulcan, at a level 2 Vulcan nonetheless, which in my eyes is a mistake. Like, if you want to go Giant here, I feel like Overlord would have been the way to go, because there was next to no AA options here on my side right now. I mean, I have the AA upgrade on the Arclight, but that is not really cost efficient. And against Vulcan, I already had Steel Bolts. I even upgraded them here without seeing that the enemy had Vulcans, because they were so good against the Sledgehammers with it. And yeah, that is a problem for the enemy. Steel Bolts here now with life regeneration, and against the level 2 Vulcan they also level really nice. I also put some crawlers down here to get another turret destruction here, as I realized the enemy was not really taking care of that, and that meant that this was going well in the end, making it way easier to deal with these Arclights, though they are really high level as well, which is a bit scary. As you can see, they even deal with steel bolts relatively nicely. But with the heal, the steel bolts do win. And Tiger did take some damage here. Here, now Giant Hunter absolutely makes sense. Enemy has a Giant on the battlefield. We are in round 6. So if they want to go for more Giants, it will pay off. More steel bolts here also. And upgrade steel bolts mean that the chances that we kill the Vulcan are pretty high. And then we go for some flanks here. Because I expected something like an arc light over here that can't quite stop steel bolts, so steel ball flank should be nice to force the enemy's hand away from the front line, while still having the chance of getting a big bonus by destroying the enemy turrets, and that is what we're getting here now. Coming around, killing the Vulcan, getting 50 points for it, and that is quite gnarly if you get that from here on out. Ooh, haste module. Orbital bombardment can be nice in some circumstances. Against me, I guess it's quite solid. Against the enemy, not so much. Melting point, pretty risky. But I realized enemy had no AA whatsoever outside of 3 Fangs. So I went for Overlords. And the side flank here with the steel bolts last turn worked pretty nicely. So I kept that around. And then here, Stormcaller coming in, being ready to fight the enemy. Missiles from the Stormcallers dealing quite nice damage. Steelbots doing live wreck and really getting through with it. And that is the end of this flank, and with that also a big problem for the front line of the enemy. As the Steelbots now got through. Enemy here heavily reduced in damage. Finally starts to crack it all. Steelbots on top of the melting point already though. More of them coming around. The Steelbots here getting somewhat decimated, but they still are quick enough to get the kill in time. And then the Arclight does fall as well. And with that, we already start to deal a lot of damage here. Especially thanks to the 2 Overlords that the enemy didn't have an answer for at all. And this is GG already. So yeah, really strong fight here with the frontline units. Pretty classic setup with the Arclights, Steel Bolts, and the Stormcallers pretty nicely as well. If you have any tips for Stormcallers, let me know down below. It's still the unit that I'm the weakest with for sure. And if you liked it in the video in general, let me know down below. What kind of combos are you using at the moment? And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one, guys. And I hope to see you in the tournament. Bye bye, and have a great day.